Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus Reports. Today is April. I was going to say April, Ben. It's May. What's that? 17th, 2023. And this is Ben and Barry on football. I know.
I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. After you said I need to write stuff down, and then you did exactly what you didn't want to do. Stumble over the date.
And I'm trying to look. I'm like, okay, you should have checked
I
out
thought
so
when
I
you
have to
said
look like a dork.
I need the script, I thought you looked at it then. Okay, so yes, it is May 17th, 2023. I almost messed that up. This is Ben Dickerson, your co-host. Oh boy, there's still a lot of stuff going on out there, folks. I know a lot of people are wrapped up in the NBA playoffs right now. I am not one of them because the Sixers are out. So as far as I'm concerned, basketball season is over. That's why I got my NY on, and I'm ready to talk some football.
No.
Yes.
We got to talk a little basketball real quick.
No.
Yeah. The question that's being bantied about is, was it fair to fire Doc?
Fair.
Fair.
There's no fair in professional sports. There's no fair in professional sports.
I'm going to hold you to that.
You can't fire Joel Embiid for walking up and down the court. You can't fire James Harden for tripping over his own feet, driving to the basket and just throwing the ball up in the air and waiting for somebody to foul him and then pretending they did when they didn't. You can't fire them for that. So you have to fire the coach. Something has to
happen. Harden has a contract situation coming up, right?
Yes. Supposedly he's going to, I forget the proper wording. He's got like an option of some sort. And the word on the street is that he's not going to take the option. So I don't know if that leaves it in the Sixers' hands as to whether or not they want to try to re-sign him for another year, or they can say, okay, fine, don't sign the option, and he becomes a free agent, at which time also the word on the street is he's going to try to get back to the Houston Rockets.
Now, rumor has it, or I'll say I read it, a report somewhere rather than, rumor has it, that Harden was pro fire Doc and Embiid was not pro fire Doc.
Okay, now you got to be careful. Now, I watched the interviews.
Okay, good. That's why I'm asking these questions.
Yes, when the question was asked, okay,
as to who?
Embiid gave as to whether or not these guys, either of these two players, felt comfortable going into the next season with Doc Rivers as the head coach. Embiid didn't seem to have a problem with it. When the question was posed to Harden, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, I think it was asked like, do you and Doc Rivers have a good relationship, and do you feel good about him being the head coach going forward? And he said, yes, we have a good relationship. That's all he said.
Okay.
So the news folks took that as to mean he'd rather not go forward with it. So he didn't say it, but he kind of just left it hanging out there in the breeze. So you know how it goes when they do these interviews. If you don't give a hardcore positive or negative response, they will read into whatever you said or didn't say. And him not saying, yes, I feel good about the coach going into the next season, basically said, no, I don't want to play for Doc Rivers
anymore. Okay, so you're saying that these are people's taking what they said and then putting their spin on
what they said or what they didn't say.
What they didn't say.
Right.
Okay. All right. Do you have any preferences for who the new coach might be?
Wow. I tell you what, there's a bunch of really good coaches out there. It's a shame two coaches that just won championships not that long ago both got fired. Budenholzer from the Bucks, Nick Nurse from the Raptors. They keep talking about D'Antoni. D'Antoni wouldn't be any better than Doc Rivers, might be worse. And my preference, assistant coach Sam Cassell.
You want to keep it within, eh?
Yep.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I think he has a real good relationship with all the players, but he seems to have a really extremely good relationship with Tyrese Maxey, who, let's face it, he's the point guard going forward. As you know, if Harden's here one more year, I'd be surprised. So Maxey's the starting point guard going forward when Harden's not here anymore. As far as I'm concerned, he should be the starting point guard right now.
Interesting the way when I asked you about whether it was fair and how you were talking about whether it's fair for Harden to walk the ball and lose it. It's funny. I saw a number. It's funny. I kind of lean toward it's, stay with Doc, and let him continue to build that team. I think these guys who get these teams to these levels, have a value in and of themselves. And in most cases, when it comes to a championship, a lot of times the team that wins had to knock on the door a few times and figure it out, and get it together.
True.
And and I saw a lot of things happening that I questioned, just basic basketball. I saw, I saw a team that tended to give up his dribble before it passed and making it easier for the other team to trap them and get into the passing lanes and things like that over and over and over.
And you saw it when? During the season and during the playoffs, right?
More so during the playoffs, probably because I watched more during the playoffs.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, I watched during the season. I went to games. That's something that's been going on the entire season. So who do you blame for that?
That can get a coach fired right there when you see something like that. That's not,
and it doesn't change.
Yeah, doesn't get corrected. And I have a saying, one of my sterling sayings: "What hurts you during the regular season kills you in the playoffs."
Absolutely.
So okay, all right. Well, I kind of felt like, but then I'm one of those guys. I like the model like the Pittsburgh Steelers, where you got the same coach and you keep them, and you build and you work together, and eventually, hopefully, you get through. You get through.
Yeah, so. When you see progress, but when you see a team going into the next season with the same errors, the same mistakes, the same tendencies, that means there's no progress. And
that's no progress. Yeah,
then you don't want to sign on for another year of no progress.
I kind of like your Sam Cassell idea, though. To be quite honest with you, I mean, there's a continuum there,
Yeah.
And I like to see what he would do, as the head coach. We see, for example, with Boston, when their head coach left and they were able to bring a guy that was part of the organization, right. And still, even though he's basically a rookie coach,
yep,
he's in the conference finals. So before we leave tonight, well, that's right. You don't even want to talk about the Heat versus the Celtics, do you? Oh my goodness. Give me buckets, and
I'm interested.
Tatum.
I'm interested in what happens, but I don't have a dog in the fight. So I cannot root for Boston. I cannot do it.
Well, I'm not rooting for anybody. I'm just looking at the teams at this point and trying to do a basketball analysis like we do with football and say, I think this team is better. Like, for example, I think the Nuggets are better than the Lakers. Although I was very impressed by what the Lakers did when they got rid of Westbrook. That team that they built around, and Ham, I think, is doing an excellent job. So, again, a new coach.
And they put a little scare into him last night.
They sure enough did. I mean, when they be, especially, let's face it, once LeBron decides, okay, I'm going to score, it's like, you know, it's hard to stop him. He's just going to bully his way and get a foul or get the points, you know, or cry to the up heavens, one or the other. So once he made up his mind, they really turned. Was it third quarter? They turned it around or something like that.
Yeah, they were down 20 something. They came back.
Yeah, they came back and made it a game.
They should.
And
here's the difference: it's the third quarter. They're getting hammered. If that's the Sixers, they give it up. They give up. They pout through the fourth quarter and they go home. But they didn't do that. Lakers didn't do that.
No,
They kept playing. So,
and I saw the Nuggets making some uncharacteristic mistakes, you know, passes going awry and things of that nature, you know. So they had their little moment too. But I just think that they're a better team overall, and that they can match up well with the Lakers. So we'll see how this goes. This could be a 7-game series. It could be, you know. I'm thinking more like 6, you know, but could be. All right. Let's get ready to go to Ben and Barry on Football, the Facebook page, Benny, where we got stuff to talk about. All right, Benny, you passed me this link, and I read it. And Benny, who was it that got drafted last year, and they saw him on the street giving clothes to the homeless person?
Patrick Willis. Not Patrick Willis.
He was a quarterback, right?
Yeah. His last name's Willis. Patrick Willis played for the Niners, right?
Right. He was a linebacker.
It's a different Willis.
Okay. Yeah. And this reminded me of that, where he stayed to basically clean up and, you know, and all of that. And I mean, I think it's a great idea, you know. Even though I must admit, if they were hiring people to do that cleanup, he's taking work from people. You know, the union wouldn't allow that. It'd be like, nah, that's their work.
Well, he didn't do it by himself. He worked with them. When I read it, it seemed to me like he felt a little guilty about how the room was left by the event and the people that were at the event. That it was a little more disgustingly left than it should have been. And he seemed to feel a little guilt as being part of that. So he said, you know what, I'm going to stay and help them clean up.
Okay. Because he says here, we left this room in an unacceptable condition.
Right.
And quite possibly, you know, what you're saying sounds very plausible. You know, that he was like, nah, I'm gonna stay here just to make a point, you know.
Yeah, like he was jacked up way worse than it should have been.
Yeah. Yeah. Anthony Richardson. So the Colts, you know, seem to have a quality person. They've got a guy who's got a super high level of athleticism. They got a coach who hopefully can take advantage of that. There's nobody ahead of him in the quarterback rankings, is there?
On that team?
Information from Wikipedia.
I don't think so.
So he's the man. So he's the man. We get to watch this from the beginning. Watch the coach mold this guy, and we know what he can do physically. We have to see now, you know, when they take it to the next level mentally, whether he can make the reads and make the adjustments and things of that nature. That you know. But he played how many years in college? He a 2-year? I think he's a 2-year guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he started 2 years.
Okay. So looking forward to seeing Anthony Richardson do his thing. Benny, did you watch the XFL championship?
Yes, I did. And well, first off, refresh my memory. Did you have power rankings on this one?
Yes, actually I did. And
okay. Well, I'm going to assume that the DC Defenders were favored.
Well, the DC Defenders were actually not favored over the team that they played from the north that they beat. to get
I
to
know
the
that.
championship,
I'm
but
talking about this
definitely
game.
favored over Arlington because
Right.
the Renegades basically had less than a 500 season.
That is correct.
They were in the negative, as a matter of fact, as far as net points were concerned.
Right.
But Luis Perez apparently marked that line between the old losing Renegades and the new energized winning Renegades that got them probably to the point of being 4-6, something like that. So that 4 that they got, probably a lot of it came under Perez. But they were massive, I think, 8-point underdogs to DC. It's interesting watching Vegas do odds on these guys. I mean, they'll do odds on any and everything. There's so much information, but it was an upset of upsets, and the Renegades came out early, looking really good. What did you think about their first half?
They attacked them early on the same way they attacked Houston in the semifinal game. They came out on fire. They scored 2 touchdowns early. They showed surprisingly good defense and eventually took control of the game and just wore Houston out. And this one, and I'll tell you, I don't know why it seemed this way, but this seemed like it was a really long game. Because even though they seemed to be in control and they were a couple scores up a few times, once DC finally found the end zone, and it took them a little while to do it, they kept threatening to catch up and take over. And I kept thinking, they're the better team. They're going to soon explode, and they're going to take this game away from Arlington. It's going to be a shame because Arlington came here ready to play. I mean, we got a 4-6 team playing a 9-1 team, and they don't look anything like they looked during the regular season. Again, last week I said they looked like a team that had nothing to lose, and they looked the same way in the championship game. But they held on. Not only did they hold on, but they kept scoring.
Yeah, they scored more than any game that season.
Isn't that amazing? A 4-6 team scores more than any other team in the league over the course of the season.
No, well, they scored more than they had ever scored.
More than they had ever scored. Well, right. Probably both things, or at least close to it. I know there were a couple blowouts. I know the Battlehawks had a couple big scoring games. But the whole idea of what I'm saying is, yeah, these guys didn't. It wasn't like they did something. That's not the. They did do something nobody expected. But it wasn't like they jumped on them early. They caught them down. Maybe DC kind of took them lightly, and they got the score, and then they held on. It wasn't like that. DC scored, got close, and then they went down and scored again.
And big plays too. Long run,
big, huge plays,
deep pass,
back-breaking plays.
Yeah.
Right when the defenders started thinking, okay, all right, we got this thing, we got it. They would score a big, huge play, and DC was like, oh my God, these guys are for real. That was a really, really good game.
And then near the end, you had the impact of the rules of the XFL, which are a little different than the NFL. And you had the one play where DC, I think it was a personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct or something like that, which put their kicker further back.
Oh, jeez.
And then they have to kick it within that square of around the 20-yard line. And because they didn't get it in there because of the foul, the ball got placed all the way out like at the 35-yard line. So they're already a third of the way.
Yeah, the other team's 35.
Right.
So basically, and as the commentator said, they could take 3 knees and kick the field goal. That rule is a hurt piece, but here's how they got to that. Their regular place kicker kick the kickoff out of bounds.
Okay.
And when the kickoff goes out of bounds, they get the ball on the other. It's not the 35. I think it's 45. I think it might be the 35. But when you kick it out of bounds, that foul equates to the same thing. They automatically get the ball on your side of the 50, 35, 45, whatever it is, which makes it almost automatic that they're going to get points. So then, after the personal foul that put them in that same position, they took the place kicker out, put the punter in, and he didn't kick it far enough. He had to kick it past the 20. He couldn't get it past the 20, which put him back on the 35 again.
Okay. Okay.
That guy that kicked that ball that didn't go far enough, he was the punter. So they benched the kicker for kicking it out of bounds and getting him in trouble. Put in the punter. He can't reach the 20, puts him right back. Those are scores that they gave away. And people say kickers aren't important.
And by the same token, just by the two big scores that DC had, and with the way that the rules are, they were actually still in the game. Like they were like two possession type situations according to XFL rules, you know?
Yes. They had a chance after one of their scores late in the game, they had a chance to get the ball back with the onside kick rule where you take the 4th and 15. They threw a pick. So every opportunity they had to prove their dominance, Arlington shut them down.
Man.
And every mistake they made, Arlington took advantage of.
Well, yes, they did. Yes, they did, man. And again, you know, you got two well-known coaches, you know, that are there, that are a part of that. And you know, the one coach, the Arlington coach, he won a college championship at that same
Bob
field.
Stoops. Bob Stoops.
At that same field, you know.
I was thinking to myself, we had talked about coaches and well-known coaches and not so well-known coaches doing these XFL and USFL type teams. There's one thing, this is me talking now, that's similar to coaching a USFL or XFL team and coaching a college team, which obviously Bob Stoops is used to. He's always been a college coach. He has been in the NFL as an assistant, but he's been a head coach in college at a couple different schools. When you're in college, and this is why some NFL coaches that come from college end up going back, there's the difference between a kid needing you and wanting you to help them get to that next level, as opposed to coaching guys that are already on that level, probably making more money than you. So when you're coaching these XFL guys and these USFL guys, they all have aspirations of getting to the NFL. So their head coach is important to them. They listen, they pay attention, they kind of really revere them. Where there are times in the NFL where, you know, you hear people talking about the guy lost the locker room. You don't usually lose a locker room in college unless you really suck. But you can lose a locker room in the NFL because these guys are like, man, this guy's crazy. Who's he think he's talking to? You know what I mean? So these XFL guys, because they are trying to get to the NFL, they're really feeding into what their coach has to say, because who knows? Some NFL coach or some NFL organization could be calling Bob Stoops saying, hey, what do you think about this guy? We're thinking about bringing him in as a free agent. They're going to talk to him. You know what I mean? So these guys, on top of the fact that, again, just like in the NFL, sometimes it's the team that gets hot at the right moment. They got hot at the right moment. And when they beat Houston, they knew. I think once they beat Houston, they knew they had the wherewithal to win that championship. I didn't believe they would do it. I went with DC. I went the safe route. I don't usually go the safe route, but I went the safe route. But these cats came out on fire, man. Luis Perez should probably be in some NFL camp somewhere.
I think
this
that might
season.
happen, and
I think it might happen.
read that somewhere that
Yeah.
might happen, and it might happen soon.
Yeah.
All right, back to the page, Benny. I don't know if you had a chance to see this matrix here.
Yeah, I
I thought
did.
this-
Give me a headache.
Oh man, but it took me a minute. It took me a minute to kind of see what they were doing, and I was like, okay. Now that I'll kind of put it together. Let's see here.
So I see certain squares got colors in them.
Exactly.
What's the significance of that?
If you go to the bottom, you'll see Saturday and with a little orangey looking.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Sunday, right?
Yeah. Saturday night,
Saturday
games,
night,
Sunday
right.
night games, Monday night, Thursday night, Black Friday.
And I think this is the
games.
NFL channel. It's going to be on the NFL channel, I think almost exclusively. Thanksgiving game, Black Friday, Christmas, and the international games.
Right.
So it's really like a really great big picture look at the entire season. That's what I was trying to get to. It's like, how can I kind of just look at the whole season and get an idea about what's going to be popping when, you know what I mean? Now, you and I would naturally focus in on our teams, So you're looking at the Giants, and I'm looking at the 49ers, right? Here's your New York Giants here. So you guys are coming out against Dallas, first game, right?
Right.
And then you got at Arizona, at San Francisco. Then you got a Seattle game. I forget what's blue. Let's see if I can get to that real quick. What was blue? Blue is what's that? Monday night, right there.
That looks like it says Monday Night Football, I think.
So you got a Monday night game.
Yeah, Monday night, ESPN or ABC. Yeah.
So I guess Seattle's coming
to MetLife on a Monday night game. I love it. So at that point, after they beat Seattle, we'll be 3-1.
Now remember, this is the second preseason that we're looking at here.
I'm not ready to talk about that right now. This is the regular season. We'll be 3-1. And that's if Purdy's playing. If Purdy ain't playing, we'll be 4-0.
No respect for my man Trey. Then you're going to be at Miami and at Buffalo.
Ooh, that's two toughies.
Ooh, that is the Buffalo.
And these colors are kind of funny. These colors are not real decisive.
Well, then you have what looks to be 4 regular games. You have Washington, the Jets, Vegas, right? Let me make sure I got mine right. Vegas, Dallas, and Washington again.
Okay.
So out of those next 5 games, you got 3 division, and 2 where you play the same team. Well, 1, you play the same team twice. That's Washington, right?
Right.
And you play Dallas. So you got 2.
That's fine. I'm not worried about them. The only division game I care about is the Eagles.
Okay.
And it looks like they're going to be stacked at the end, which is good. I like that.
You like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we play
that.
New England in week, what is that, 13?
That's a late season bye you guys got there. Look at that. New England,
that's cool.
Get a bye.
I like it.
You like that?
Yep.
Like those late season buys. Let's see if we can make it a little easier for people to see. New Orleans, there's your Philly game in green, which means is that Christmas Day?
Christmas Day.
Are you?
Let's go. Christmas Day, Eagles.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
And then you got the Rams and the Eagles again.
I love it. I love that schedule.
All right.
I have no problem with that schedule. And that schedule also makes one thing clear to me that I was thinking about the other day, but I wasn't sure exactly what it is, but now I know what it is. The NFC East plays the AFC East. So there's always one conference or one division that your division gets in the opposite conference. This year, the NFC East will be playing the AFC East. So we will play the Bills and the Jets and the Patriots and the Dolphins. Everybody in the division will play them. So we'll have our work cut out for us.
Okay. All right. Now, as far as my Niners are concerned, let me see here. And from what I understand, NFC East, basically your strength of schedule flipped from last year where it was like the weakest to one of the strongest, if not the strongest.
I think I read that, yes.
Yeah. So
although it doesn't look that tough to me. I'm not going to say it's not tough. Don't get me wrong. If we're playing the AFCs, those are all going to be tough games. Miami's going to be tough. Jets are going to be tough. Shit, New England's going to be tough. You know the Bills are going to be tough. That's 4 hard games. And then you got 2 with Dallas, 2 with Washington, 2 with the Eagles. That's almost the entire season right there. So, yeah, it's not a cakewalk.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Your own division is tough, much less who you have to play outside of the division. Now, my Niners kick off with Pittsburgh. And then the Rams. So that's 2 away games, one of which looks to be a 1 o'clock game on the East Coast, Benny. 1 o'clock on the East Coast. Then we have a Thursday night game. That's your Giants.
Find out when Purdy's going to be ready.
Yeah, well, that's your thing. I'm quite interested to see what Trey Lance can do. And from what I'm understanding, they're liking Sam Darnold.
Okay.
And I think that's interesting because we talked about Sam Darnold becoming more of a running type quarterback than what he had been. And to go to San Fran where they would, take advantage of that. When you got Trey Lance, you got the options built in, you got pistols built in and all that kind of stuff. Didn't run a lot of that with Purdy, but it's there. It's in the offense. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Sam Darnold. I'm not the biggest Sam Darnold fan, but
you better start being the biggest Sam Darnold fan because Sam Darnold may start the season for you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'll be rooting for Sam Darnold, Then we got a division game against Arizona. It's a Saturday night game against Dallas on NBC. We got a Cleveland game at Minnesota, Cincinnati, and a bye right smack dab in the middle of the season.
SNF, I think, is Sunday night football.
That's Sunday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, right. Sunday night. Okay.
So 1, 2, 1, 3, 1. Okay. I see you at 4-1 before you get to your bye, or 3-1. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong thing because that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games before the bye.
Yeah, you'll beat Pittsburgh, you'll beat the Rams, you'll lose to the Giants, you'll beat Arizona, and you'll probably beat Dallas. That's a little shaky one there.
Just pencil in that loss to the Giants, eh?
Just pencil it in.
Well, coming off the bye, we're at Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Seattle on Thanksgiving. Turkey game.
Oh, you got a Thanksgiving game. Okay.
Yeah. And then I guess that's a 1 o'clock game in Philadelphia. We got to come back east, then go back west to Seattle, stay back west with Arizona at Arizona, come back east for Baltimore.
Ooh.
And then we have, is that Washington?
I think so.
and we finish up with the Rams. So the last 4 games, Baltimore will be probably the most interesting, but we have to see what Washington is going to look like as a team. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, can you let me look at that one more time so I can figure out what AFC teams y'all playing? Let me see. Slide it over to
A
the
little bit. There we go.
yeah. Okay, so it looks like you guys are playing the AFC North.
Pittsburgh.
You got Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati,
We
and
got
the
a
Ravens.
South too. Here's a South.
No, but I'm talking about division as a whole.
Oh, okay.
And a whole AFC division, you guys got the North.
Okay. The North.
A lot of stuff going on in that AFC North.
Man, I'm telling you. So just looking across this, Benny, anything in particular that you see that kind of catches your eye as far as week
Nah,
1, week 7,
not yet.
week 18?
Not yet. I mean, I like the fact that we're playing the Eagles on Christmas Day. I think that's a big deal. Who's the other Thanksgiving games? What's the color for Thanksgiving?
Color for Thanksgiving is that orangey looking
That
color.
orangey looking thing.
There it is
So
right here. You got
it's you guys
Washington,
in
Green Bay.
Seattle. It's Green Bay and Detroit, Dallas and Washington. 3 games, right, on Thanksgiving.
Looks
Yeah,
that way.
That's it. Dallas, Washington, Green Bay, Detroit, and you guys with Seattle. That's a good Thanksgiving. I like it.
Yeah. I'll be sleep. I'll be full and sleep on TV. Definitely. Lots of buys in, well, what's that? Week 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buys in week 13.
Yeah, there's always one bye week that's a little bigger than the others.
Yeah, week 13.
That's probably it, week 13. Okay, that's cool.
Baltimore, I'm interested to see what they do this year. They got Houston, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Cleveland at Pittsburgh, and then they play Tennessee. That's an international game.
I'm expecting Baltimore to be good.
I expect them to be good too. I just don't know how good.
I think they'll be better than Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They'll be better than Cleveland.
Better than Cleveland. Now Cleveland's quarterback took his receivers to some exotic retreat to work out.
Yeah, you get free massages for everybody. Don't worry, y'all. I'll pay for the massages.
I'll pay for the massages. I'll be like, no, thank you. I don't want to wind up on TV and some special report. That's okay. You got But you got a lot of international games. Looks like the international games are pretty much in the first half of the season.
What is
I don't
that?
see anything after week 10. So at week 10, you got international.
Jacksonville, Atlanta. Yeah.
Well,
got Jacksonville,
I'm looking
Atlanta.
at New England and Indianapolis here.
Okay. All right.
In week 10, and Kansas City and Miami, week 9.
That's going to be a game. That's going to be a game. Tyreek Hill already said. Tyreek Hill already said, I'm doing damage.
Yeah, he sure did.
I'm coming at you. I'm coming at them boys.
He sure did. Yes, he did too. Yes, he did. And then let's see, Jacksonville and Atlanta. Okay, Atlanta got the running back, right?
Yeah, they got Bijan.
So, and Jacksonville's running back was hurt. He was the one that was hurt last year? Came back?
But he's back.
He's back, so that'll be a good running back connection. And I don't see any no international games in the first 3 weeks of the season. So we start in week 4. We have 5, 6. I don't see anything in 7. I don't see anything in 8. Then we have week 9 and week 10 for international games. All right. So this should be a very interesting situation. You have Denver coming in with the new coach, much higher expectations. You
Yep.
know, they're going to kick it off against the Raiders. I hear Devontae is not real happy with the Raiders.
Yeah, I read an article. They said he wasn't feeling real confident about the direction that the offense was going, but he was going to be a good soldier and keep his mouth shut and do his best and see what's what. I don't like the way that sounds.
Well, you know,
That
he went
sound
there because of his boy, you know, and they
well,
trade away his boy. They bring in Garoppolo, and he's like,
he's trying to say that he didn't go there because of Derek Carr. That was
is
a
he really?
plus. That was a plus, but he says, I really want to win a championship with this organization. Like he wanted to be a Raider. That's the story that he's putting out there now.
Are you
Because
serious?
people are saying, are you unhappy? Derek Carr is gone. Or do you want to go too? And he said, well, no, I want to win a championship with this organization. But he's making it clear that he doesn't feel real good about how things are looking. Now, that could all change. Like I said, he said he talked to Jimmy Garoppolo like on the phone or something, but they haven't had a chance to work out or anything yet. He seems like a cool dude, is what he said. But I don't know what kind of leader he's going to be. But he's saying, I'm going to hang in there and I'm going to do my best and see what happens. Sounds to me like if they start off bad, he's going to be asking for a trade.
he's setting it up,
He's,
eh?
he's setting it up. He's setting it up.
All right. Next up, Benny, let's take a quick look here at the players who had their fifth-year option declined. Interesting group of players here. I guess some of these guys maybe have been signed since May 2nd. Today is much later in the month. But number one on that list was Chase Young. Did he get signed yet?
I don't know. I'm not privy to any recent signings.
So I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Isaiah Simmons, C.J. Henderson, Mekhi Becton,
That's a
Javon
big name.
Kinlaw. Now,
There's some
Javon
big
Kinlaw, I
names
think
on
we
here.
signed him. I think the
Okay, so
Niners signed
Kinlaw's
him.
back with the Niners.
Yeah, he got signed.
Chase
Austin?
Young is interesting because Chase Young was supposed to be a big-time star in this league. And he started off his career really well. And he's got a really bad injury, and he hasn't played basically in 2 seasons. So the whole thing is when a guy's hurt that long, when he finally comes back, you don't know exactly what you're getting. Like he's got a lot to prove. So I can understand him not, wanting to go with his 5th-year option. He's going to have to sign one of those 1-year prove-it deals. Isaiah Simmons, I believe that's a linebacker. I believe he played with the Cardinals. I could be mistaken. Another guy I think is coming off an injury. He's going to have to prove himself. C.J. Henderson, Mekhi Becton, big-time offensive lineman for the Jets. He's going to have to really show what he can do. When they don't want to go with your 5th-year or 4th-year option, that means the team has doubts. So if the team is doubting you and you want to stay there, you pretty much have to prove yourself. If you don't want to stay there, you can say, the heck with y'all. And maybe they let you go, you go free agent, and you sign somewhere else. But then it's probably better to try to stay with the team and prove yourself and then go free agent, because then you look better to the other teams. If you don't, the other teams are going to look at you the same way your current team looks at you. Like, we don't know because you've been hurt. We're not sure. So if the Niners took Kinlaw back, that's a good thing. Austin Jackson, Caleb Von Chasen, Jalen Reagor, PU, Kenneth Murray, Cesar Ruiz, Jordan Brooks, and Patrick Queen. I just read something about Patrick Queen today. I believe the Ravens are going to re-sign him.
Okay.
They like him. He's a linebacker. Man, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I was surprised about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man.
Yeah, he kind of fell off, man. He really fell off. You know, he had a little fumble issue.
Ooh.
And then he kind of fell off. And then they got the kid Isaiah Pacheco. And he burst onto the scene. So
yeah, Pacheco, yeah, that's right. That's right.
So Hilaire's looking like, yeah, you know, maybe we can let him go. They'll probably try to keep him as depth. Because it's not like
I was thinking, you know,
not like he's a bad player. He's a good player.
Yeah.
You know, but I think Pacheco's got him as far as quickness to the hole and hands. And Pacheco doesn't fumble like it. Helaire fumbles, man. You know, teams don't like that. That's one thing you don't want your running back to do is have a penchant for fumbling the ball. You know? Go back and look at some old Tiki Barber tape. High and tight.
Well, Benny, I wanna take a look. We have we posted some information here about the passing of Joe Cap. And you and I, as older guys, we remember him. I remember him playing, but I don't remember, you know, it's been a long time. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when I looked through the article, here he is here, some of the things that jumped out to me were things that I didn't know about him. And some of the things he had done. I didn't know, for example, he played college at Cal, and they went to a 1959 Rose Bowl appearance. That he started in the CFL for 8 years with the Calvary Stampeders and the DC Lions.
Yes.
A two-time All-Star, and led the Lions to the 64 Grey Cup. And then the Vikings executed an NFL CFL trade. I never heard about that before. Acquiring Cap to replace Fran Tarkenton, who had been dealt to the New York Giants.
Right. Tarkenton did come to the Giants, yes.
And he went there in the first year that Bud Grant coached.
Yeah.
You're talking some history here, man.
Yeah. And
so, he played some historic stuff. I mean, NFL, CFL trade, really?
That's crazy.
You know? So he finished second in the NFL MVP voting in 1969. He had some, you know, struggles with the Vikings. He said the team won the Central Division in '68 before winning the last ever NFL championship in 1969. Right before the NFL and the AFL merged. The Vikings.
So they were still a powerhouse, but they could not win a Super Bowl.
Them and the Buffalo Bills. 4 shots, 0-4.
Yep.
It's crazy. And what I read about the Vikings in terms of one of the problems in the playoffs was that purple people eater, that rush that they had, their weakness was against the run. And so from what I understand, that's where they were attacked when it came to having to play playoff type games and Super Bowl type games.
But they made it to 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
They dominated the NFL. They dominated the NFL. But they could not beat the AFL.
So he played his final NFL season with the Boston Patriots. The Boston Patriots.
Yep. The old Boston Patriots.
He played 1 season, ended up selecting Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Jim Plunkett.
Yep.
The first. I mean, it's just the names that pop up when you're reading about Joe Cap. It's just I'm like, holy mackerel, you know. I never knew, that his history and all the connections that he had. But I thought I'd bring that up because you can go to Ben and Barron Football, read the article, and really get an idea, about what he did. And I mean, that's football history. Especially, I mean, and our friend Ron did and let him know because I might have
That's
got
his
it from
team.
him. That's his squad, the Vikings.
Yeah, that's the squad for the Vikings. I don't know how far back he goes with them, but I'm sure he knows about Joe Cap. Joe Cap looked like a fullback playing quarterback. He was a big, burly dude. You know what I mean? He could run. And that's back when the quarterbacks didn't run much.
Right.
But when he did run, he was a bruising runner. Like he put his head down. He would run over people. So that was
right.
that's pretty interesting. Yeah, Joe Cat. Good guy. Good
Well,
player.
Ben, this is called From the Sublime to the
To the
Ridiculous.
ridiculous.
There he is, Mr. Ridiculous.
Oh, gee whiz.
I mean, you want to be an owner, but you don't want to pay your people.
Did you see the video where he was at a game and he was on the field and the security guards came and told him to get off the field? And he said, "Who are you talking to? I'm the owner of the team." And the guy's like, "No, you're not." He's like, "Yes, I am."
No.
Oh, that was so goofy. Oh, he didn't pay the players.
That's what it's saying here. Pittsburgh,
It gets worse and worse.
accused of not paying the coaches and players of the arena football team, the Albany Empire. So as a result of not getting paid, the head coach and players have quit, including the reigning league MVP. So he always tends to show up and something weird happens when he
Stuff
does.
just blows up in his face, man.
Every time. Well, look, let's finish this up on a high note, Benny.
Okay.
2 graduations that we posted about. One here with my man Justin Fields.
Good job.
Graduated from Ohio State with a degree in consumer and family financial services.
All right. All right.
So he'll be handing out some financial advice to his fellow players.
Hopefully.
It's not just a regular degree. We're talking about a master's degree from Oklahoma for Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts.
Good job.
When did he find the time?
Well, he's a busy guy, man.
I'm telling you.
So what's his master's in? Does it say?
Well, let's click on the link and see what this master's degree is in. Human relations.
Okay.
So he's going to be a personnel person. You know, he might join Clutch Sports when he finishes.
Maybe.
And wind up making a ton of money representing other people, working with Clutch Sports. So.
Well, that's great. That's wonderful.
Oh, wait, listen to this. Completed a bachelor's degree in public relations and information sciences in only 3 years at the University of Alabama.
Okay, cool. So he's got 2 degrees.
Yeah, he got, and those are bachelors.
Right. So now he's got a master's too.
Let me see here. Let me see. His mother is a special education teacher. I didn't know that. But I mean, that's what you call a year, right? Sign a $255 million
contract. His master's degree in human relations. Yeah, it's human relations.
Human relations. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got it covered, man. He's got tech. He's got human relations.
That's great. That's great. Do you have another one? Because I thought I sent you another one.
I just have those 2 that I know of.
Okay. Head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Todd Bowles, who promised his mother way back 30-something years ago, finally kept the promise. I don't even know if she's still living, but he went through with his promise and got his college degree just recently. I forget the name of the school. He didn't get it from Temple because he played for Temple. Then he went into the NFL and started playing, and he went to his coaching career and all that. So he's just now finishing up college. He did get his degree. I forget the name of the school that he went to get it, but he got it. So congratulations to him also.
Absolutely. 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 All right, Benny. Well, that's pretty much all I got. You got anything else for us?
Got to watch a little bit of USFL this weekend. And I guess I got to watch some basketball.
You know you will. You're a basketball fan.
I am.
You're
I
a
am.
fan of the game.
I'm a little hurt right now, but I'll get over it. You know, I'll be all right.
Our Philly Stars.
Yeah, how they doing?
They're kind of looking like the Renegades, so maybe they can get their act together later on.
Never know. I'll
I
take
hate
a look.
to say this, but the name of the quarterback is Case Cookus.
Yeah, I know that's a crazy name, man.
It's too close. It's too close.
The Tookus.
To that, yeah. I'm thinking Kirk Cousins, one of those cake Cookus, Kirk Cousins type. It's just too close.
Stop. You're joking me, man. You're joking me. Too close to Cousins.
Too
Cookies.
Cookies. So we'll have to see how that works out.
That's crazy.
Oh, well. I don't have a favorite team yet in the USFL. I'm not a homer, so I'm not going to say I'm a Stars fan just because they're from Philly. But you know, I'll give them some play. Definitely. I have no reason not to at this particular point.
Well, I will say this: the Birmingham Stallions are the defending champions, but they didn't get off to a great start, I don't think either. I think they only got a couple of wins. So it's anybody's ball game. We'll have to catch up and see what happens this weekend.
Halfway through the season.
Yep.
Had 10 games, so we'll be looking forward to that. All right.
All right.
Peace.